Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Before starting, subscribe and like the videos, it really helps. The content from this video are taken from the web novel and manga series of Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. Now please enjoy the video. Volume 10 Chapter 1 Things to Prepare Before Marriage. First Part 1 I will marry Sylphy. Marriage, it is something I never experienced in my previous life. It feels a little premature for that matter. Thus I have a great deal of anxiety. But, more than that, the expectation as a couple is high and such a thing is allowed. When I think that the pretty girl is to get my poisonous fang, it would be coveted. No, of course I don't intend to do anything that Sylphy hates. However, I was troubled. When I think about it, I don't know much about the marriage system of this world. At least, I have never seen such a thing as a wedding ceremony until now. Paul didn't hold a wedding ceremony with Lilia either. At best, it's enough to have a celebration by calling people from the village. Asura nobles throw parties once they get married, but I've never heard of them holding something like a wedding ceremony. However, marriage and relationship, the concept of a partnership, but I don't understand it. What is marriage? What should a married man do? What do I do? 16 years have passed since I came to this world and I don't even have such basic common sense. Now what? If I don't know, I will learn. A person can learn it. If I don't understand, I should ask. Are you getting married? At first, I decided to ask Zenoba, a 26-year-old divorcee, widower, in time for dinner. The place is a dining room in the dormitory. Over time, I gave my partner's family a domestic animal, a soldier, and food as gifts. In the case of marriage in Sharon, it seems to be common sense that a man sends a gift to the woman's relatives. Since you're a prince, isn't it easy to get? Yes, for anyone, even if he is a prince, it is natural that the man sends the gift. And then Cliff's head coincidentally pops by. It's reversed in Millis. The family of the bride gives her a betrothal present. It has become regular for Cliff to have dinner with us. This is because he has few friends, so it's lonely for him. Oh, but that's it. Don't you lose the woman's family. Instead, the man helps out when there's something going on in the bride's home. I see. Be it Millis or Sharon, recognition of marriage is a strong connection between houses. Oh, a marriage is different for different races. How is it with the elf race? The truth is I haven't married Lisi yet. We have the promise to solve the curse, so I don't know the customs yet. Since Lisi is different from the other elves, she doesn't seem to be particular about such things. We had a long discussion, but talk of a wedding ceremony never came up. Won't there be something called a wedding ceremony? There isn't. Is it good that there isn't? Then if you're to marry someone, what do you need? You're right, first is a house. Zenoba nodded at Cliff's words. House. A house. Oh, why is it suddenly a house? It's obvious. In order to get married, what are you going to do without a house? Looking at Zenoba's face, of course he's nodding. In this world, is it necessary to have a house to marry? That reminds me. Did Paul come to live in Buina village upon marrying? Was he living in the Adventurer's Inn until then? When I asked, he said Philip granted him a house and a job. Generally girls can't enter the male dormitory, so their only options are to refrain from marriage before graduation or to leave the dorm after the marriage. Since there isn't a place to live in, now that you mention it, that certainly seems true. I haven't heard any stories of a couple living in a dormitory. There is no dormitory for married people. There aren't any concepts of long distance or commuting relationships here. Basically, a couple lives together. Anyway, if the daughter is from a good place, and the other side has a house, either way you are home free. It is resourcefulness that a man prepares. There's too much male chauvinism in Cliff's words. But is this the common sense of this world even without our family's assistance? It'd be reasonable that I prepare for such a thing. Rather, she might be disillusioned with me if I'm not prepared. I understand. First is a house. Cliff made a suspicious expression when he said so. Wait, Rudeus, are you getting married? Yeah, well. With whom? A question from Cliff. Somehow it doesn't seem right to give Sylphy's name. It will definitely be found out at some point, but should I keep it secret for a little longer? It's the person who cured my disease. Oh, I see. Name? Well, let's leave that as a secret for now. I see. Well, if the partner is from Millis, I'm acquainted with the bishop of this town, and I'm good with informal congratulatory addresses. Yes. So there seems to be a wedding ceremony-like thing in Millis. In Japan, the wedding ceremony is regarded as particularly awful, but it isn't so here? However, in this world, it seems to be offensive if you imitate a different sect. I am not a follower of Millis. Neither is Sylphy. Still, a house will be expensive. Shisho, if you do not have enough money, shall I lend assistance? Though, I would feel ashamed that I have to depend on Zenoba for this kind of thing. Even I want to maintain my pride as a man. What is the market price of a house in this neighborhood anyway? Hopefully my savings will suffice. Anyway, I'll check around town tomorrow. If it looks impossible, then I'll ask. Naturally. Rest assured, Shisho will be able to purchase the biggest house in town. Zenoba said so and laughed. Royalty doesn't feel any different despite being from a small country. Part 2. The next day I proceeded to the real estate agent. Normally the local feudal lord would provide forms for citizens to rent out land and buildings. However, there is no feudal lord in the Magic City Sharia. The Magic Triumvirate and the Magic Guild collaborate to manage the territory. The problem that occurs in situations where there is no lord has been solved by installing a real estate broker. Though I don't know what kind of problem was actually taking place. I call it a real estate broker, for convenience, but the official name is Land Management Agency, or something like that. They buy and sell unoccupied houses, and manage vacant land and development. It's like a so-called government office. When I went to one of these real estate agents and said, I want a house, the receptionist handed me a list. The list of houses on the market was summarized in one page. Size of the property, the size of the building, number of rooms, the price, the address, etc. The list ranged from small houses to mansions. Each property was very different. Honestly, I don't understand how much it costs to buy a house. After all, I wonder about a single-room house with a garden would be good. It would be nice to have enough room to keep a dog. Or wouldn't an apartment like a tenement house work? Sylphy is the escort of the princess. The house should be good, even without considering the fact that she's an escort. However, because she's an escort, Princess Ariel might visit. Since that's the case, it would be bad if we had a poor house. Still, I instinctively clutch my wallet when thinking about buying a high-quality house suited for nobles. Should I ask Zenoba for support? No, I am hesitant to use a friend as a wallet. Especially since I'm not looking to buy a modest house. I might come with Sylphy. I wonder if I should consult with the bride about such a large expense. No, in this world a man should purchase the house. I also want to impress the woman I like. When I talk to Sylphy, I don't want to seem like a miserable excuse for a man. I must show my resourcefulness. It needs to be large, have many rooms, and the property must be cheap. I start scanning the list for such a property. No matter what world you're in, buying a house will be expensive for sure. Though it could have been considered normal for a newlywed couple to rent a cheap apartment in my old world. Oh, and there, I found a good property. Right at the end of the list. The property has a single structure. For its size it could be considered a mansion. It is located in a corner of the town, but it isn't far from the Magic University. It is 2 stories, and it also has a basement and a garden. The only problem is that the house is slightly old. The price is surprisingly cheap, less than the half price of a comparable property. If it's this much, I can buy it and still have money left over. Why is this listing so cheap? The staff member shows a bitter smile when I asked. It's a fact that the mansion is haunted. Is it a curse? Yes, around midnight you can hear sharp sounds, but even if you look for the sound you won't find anything. When you think that the house is rumbling or something and try to leave it, the next day you'll be found cruelly murdered. Are you serious? Well, I didn't hear the story well. Haunted house. And I wonder if it's evil spirits. There are demons in this world, too. You didn't exorcise it? A request was given to the Adventurers Guild, but the adventurers were brutally murdered. In short, nobody was able to succeed in exorcising it. By the way, the subjugation rank of the request seems to be I want to raise the rank, but the budget is lacking and there is also friction with the Adventurers Guild, which seems difficult in various ways. Did you ask for help from the Magic Guild? Yes, but they are in a difficult position to interfere with things of this nature, so we can only handle it on our own. The real estate agent was about to give up on the haunted house. Come to think of it, there was a similar case that happened when I was on the magical continent. It's certainly a common thing in this world. If I succeed in exorcising the house, I don't suppose that you could hand it over for free. This guy has a look as if he can't believe what I just asked. Is that so? It seems that they will sell it even if it's troublesome. I'm sorry, then can we proceed with a temporary contract so I can inspect the property at a later date? Then, I'll ask for your name here. Although I failed in the initial negotiations, I signed the temporary contract without minding it. Since there was also a place for references, I wrote Demon King Badagadi and Princess Ariel. Submit. The staff member's face paled a bit when he looked at the contract, then retreated back into the offices. His supervisor appeared immediately. While rubbing his hands together, did this happen because my name is famous? No, mentioning Batagati and Ariel might be the reason. Well, whatever. I cut in while they spoke a little and the negotiations were concluded. Furthermore, they reduced the price by half. Well, the property was treated like a plague, but I'm not going to complain. That's it guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want more and don't forget to like the videos.